Today I'm going to do an astrophotography tutorial for editing. Stacked this in Deep Sky Stacker, and it spits it out as a 16-bit image or 32-bit image. So you have to change it to a 16-bit. You click on here, go to exposure and gamma. Click OK. Now you have all your stuff. Then we have to level out the histogram. So first thing, Control J for new layer, Control L for levels. Go to the green one and bring that one down a little bit. Alright, till they're all lined up. And the blue's sticking out just a touch. That looks pretty good right there. Don't worry about these little bumpies right here. It's stacking artifacts from the outside of the image. Once we get it all done and crop it in a little bit, then you'll notice it'll go away. All this right here. But this right here, now it's all level and nice and flat. Just like right here. That's what you want. Okay. Then you're going to do a point sample on your little eyedropper with the little crosshairs. And then push Control plus, zoom in, and pick a bright star, really bright white one. That'll be your bright colors, your highlights and whites. Control minus will bring you back. Zoom out. And then I'm going to pick a dark spot. Just don't want to pick inside any of the nebulosity. I got a picture I already finished, so I'm looking off of that to pick my dark spot. Make sure I don't pick a spot on accident. There. Your highlights and whites and your darks, shadows and blacks. Then you're gonna go Control M for your curves so we can stretch it. Then you got these arc sign stretches. They're color preserving stretches. You type in arc sign on Google, you can find it in cloudy nights, and it's free. You download it, they give you instructions how to install them and everything. I'm going to hit this one with a 30 right off the start. Click OK. Now, you want to bring these down. I usually have my highlights at about 195 and my darks and shadows like 40. Sometimes you can't really get there. You just have to play around with it. It takes a little bit of time. So then Control L for the levels. Then we can adjust each one individually. Start with the red. Bring the black point up. Pretty close. And then you want to hit the output. That'll bring it down to where you want. Get it kind of close, and then you can finish with the blacks. And if you get like here where it's at 192 instead of 195, then you can just boom, 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 boom. Then you can hit your, ooh, we're a little too far. That one, and that one. Ooh. There we go. See, 195, 40. This is what it's at before. This is after we apply it. Green. Same thing. And the blues. Sometimes you just gotta kind of play around with it a little bit. There we go. Now we click OK, and you'll see they're all the same again. Then Control M, bring the curves back up, and smack it again. This time we're going to use a 10. Because shortly, once we recorrect these colors, then we're going to save it and put it in the StarNet++ and remove the stars. Then we can mess with just the nebulosity in the background. And this is the way I've been doing it. Comes out pretty good. Still a lot I need to learn. But this is, just really to help somebody out. I've never done a video like this before, ever. Normally, I've never done a video, but I put together a couple time lapse. If you guys watch them on my channel, you'll see. But this is like the first thing that I could do with the time I have right now. I do plan doing more walkthroughs with setting up. I got the HEQ 5 Plus, Pro, Astrotech 80mm telescope, and the camera I'm recording on right now, if you can't tell the weird tint colors, it's my Astro camera. It's the only camera I got right now, so you have to bear with me until I can get another one. Then once I get that done, then I can start putting together a few more tutorials of how to set up, get your polar alignment. And I do everything with the remote on the go-to mount still. I tried PhD and Nina and all that, and I just cannot figure it out to save my life. Eventually I'll get it. Really looking at one of those ASI Air Pluses. Those are pretty sweet. So let's readjust our colors. Control L. And you should be stamping it and making a new layer every time, but this is just for the tutorial right now. Just gonna kind of blast through it real quick. Come on, all right though. Oops, a little too far. Right there. And the green. And the blue. Right there. Now, you've noticed you can see a lot more of this nebulosity starting to come out. So to preserve all this, we're going to save as. I already have a few that I've done. I'm just going to click the same one I've been doing. You can save it as whatever you want. Click save. Oh, you know what? I do this every time. Flatten it before you save it. Otherwise, it makes the file much bigger and more complicated than it has to be. Then we'll save it. Yes. Click none. Don't know why. That's just what I've seen everybody do. Click OK. Now, same thing with StarNet or StarNet++. It's free. Just Google it. You'll find it. Once you get it downloaded and installed, you'll click on this one here. It says application. Brings it up. Browse. Then you'll put the input file. Browse will be the one that we just saved. Open. Okay, I'm back. So the neighbor, little old lady, just needed some help. Got her squared away. So when you put your file in, then you have to rename it. And just usually put like Starless. I've done it a few times, so I'll change the name a little bit. And then you click run. Well, the tiles, I believe, is like how many tiles are in the picture for this particular software. Then it'll run. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes not so bad. With this computer, it's pretty quick. On my old one, though, it would take like 15 minutes. So just beware. It takes some time. I'm back now and it's done. It wrote the image. Close that out. Close that out. Go back into Photoshop. And File. Open. Then this one here, that's the one I wrote. Open. And now you can see. No stars. There's some little artifacts in here. We can address some of these later, but it would take you all day to go through them. So then you're going to come back to this one, and you want only the stars here. So you're going to go to Image, Apply Image. Pick the one that we just did. Click Subtract, and it will pull all that out and leave you just the stars. And the offset in the Apply Image, I just always go with like a 35. You can play with it a little bit, see how you like it. Totally up to you. There's no like rule of thumb by it. I just like to use 35. So then I just do a real quick like edit on the stars because I don't really, not really much I can do with it other than just bring the stars up a little bit, drop the blacks down, because it's really only going to use just the stars. When you put it in the new image, you'll see. So then like you can do another quick arc sign, brighten up the stars a little bit, flatten, go into the levels, bring her down. You can, whatever you want. Get it down there, about 70, that looks good. Flatten. And then you're just not going to mess with this anymore. Come back over here. Now we can deal with the actual nebulosity. Fit on screen. And then there's really no easy way I've seen to color calibrate when you do this, so it's really all just by eye. You'll get the hang of it. I usually smack it with a couple arc signs, flatten it back down, bring these in, and then you can see like there's starting to really pop that nebulosity out. Flatten. Do this one more time. And then you can see it's kind of like really bright down here and then levels off. So after you flatten this, you go to your filters. This is a paid filter. This is RC Astro Gradient Exterminator. Works great. I just leave it on the default. Medium, and it does balance the background after it's done, but you can mess it up if you're not paying attention after you get done. But just hit OK. And then look at that. Nice and flat and even. Then bring it back down a little bit. Look at that. Then like here, I have the Astronomy Tools. That helps me with all these horizontal lines. Sometimes you got to hit it a couple times to get it really good. But, you know, you got all these options. Let me flatten that real quick. Like I'll show you. Control J for a new level or layer so I can show you. And then like, let's see, space noise reduction. Hit play, it does it all for you. This one costs $2, but I don't think it's too terrible. Then you can see it's kind of softened it up a little bit, got rid of a little bit of the noise. I'll zoom in here on the crescent itself and show you. Like you can see, it's a little fuzzy, so you can bring the opacity down a little bit. Keep a little bit of the crunchiness in it. Then flatten. Fit on screen. And then we can go, this is what I usually like to use, camera raw filter. Just seems a little easier for me. Usually come here to clarity and I do like I'll do a 30. Starts to bring up a lot of the detail. And then hit it with a little bit of contrast. Not too much. Bring the whites up a little bit. Just to get some more of the pop on the crescent. Same thing with the highlights. Not too much. Make it like an even number. That's what I like to do. The vibrance, hit it with like 30. And then come to the color mixer. I like to kind of color correct just a little bit. Might be more to my taste than anything else, but click on the reds here and you can give it a little bit more of that, I don't know, like an orangish color a little bit. Bring the oranges up. It's a little too much. Let's go with like a 30. Then the blues, you can bring that over because you can notice there's like a blue cast. You bring that up. Get rid of that quite a bit. And you can mess with like the optics. I mean, really ain't no vignetting you want to mess with. Detail, you can do some more noise reduction, sharpening. I mean, you can click the little eyeball, see, sharpens it up a little bit. Color noise reduction, like a 30. That's what I usually do. And like curve, like you can grab the curve, bring it up a little bit. Go back to the contrast, bring it down a little bit more. Don't want to do too much. End up really messing with it. Then you can, when I hit OK, you'll see original, new. Looks pretty good. You got all these little artifacts from StarNet++, which they're kind of a pain to deal with, but you can get like some of the major ones with your spot healing brush, soft brush. Where did it get? Content aware. That way we'll make it look as close to what you got right next to you. hit some of these big ones here. And when you add the other picture, it will cover it up quite a bit. You won't even really ever know that they're there. Let's close this, see. It looks pretty good. Alright. So now, I'm going to do select by color range. Then you can come in here and click on these specific colors you really want to mess with. Let's see. No, that's not too bad. Okay. Select, modify, expand by 1 pixel. It's not really showing anything. I don't know why. Let's try that again. Deselect by color range. Sample colors. There we go. That's a little better. Bring the fuzziness down a little bit. You don't want everything in there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Select, modify, expand by 1 pixel. Just make sure you get quite a bit in there. And then select, modify, then feather by 1 pixel. Just smooths the edges a little bit. And then edit, copy, edit, paste. Now we come over here, hit the layers, or the, not layers, curves. Then you can click on this. This is your layer mask, and then you can increase it. Gives it a little more pop. Then you can come here, and you can pick like what you want it to do. Like saturation, you can really bump it up. I got a little messed up right there. There we go. It looks pretty good. Flatten. Then you can see it's brought it up a lot. Now we're going to use our Astrophotography tools, the Astronomy Tools. Horizontal banding. Let's create another layer. Hit play. Then you should see all these bandings just like not 100% disappear, but quite a bit. Like, look at that. Much better. Flatten. Get rid of that one. And then I like to click on the curves. Click on the, this is a reset to black point. You can pick a spot, like it's going to really mess with it sometimes. And then you can like always come here to the opacity and bring it back a little bit, just so you can get a little more contrast between the color and the background. You don't want too much, make it look not normal. It looks pretty good. Flatten that. Now we're going to add the stars back in. Image, apply image. Click on the crescent. And then you see like we can do lighten, screen, which really puts everything back in there. Color dodge, linear dodge, it's a little brighter and everything's in there. Or lighter color. I usually like to use lighten or lighter color. Kind of gives it a nice even color to it. Click OK. And then there you have it. That's the one that we just edited. You can bring the luminosity, everything back up just a little bit. Maybe give it like a little Astro S curve. Kind of play with it a little bit. Do it one more time with just the whole. There we go. Right about there. That looks pretty good. And that's about it. This is how I like to do my watermark. You don't have to do it this way. There's ways you can make your own, have it pre-ready to go and just slap it in, but this is the way I like to do it. Just hit the text tool, horizontal, and then just drag you out a spot here. And then you can come over here, pick your color or your size of the text. Some pictures 60 is way too big, some pictures 60 is kind of small. And then pick a color that you want to work with the background. And then there you go. Then you just hover over. You can see you can rotate it, whatever. Then you just want this one to move it, like put it down in the corner. That's how I usually put it. Then you can mess with the opacity to really like watermark it. About right there. Looks pretty good to me. Then flatten and we'll back it up just a touch because we're going to crop it now and get rid of these stacking artifacts. Click crop. I like to just bring it in just a touch all the way around. Hit enter and there we go. And now you'll see how flat the backside is. How I was saying, had all them little bumpies there earlier. Now they're all gone because we got rid of that little border that from the stacking. I usually use a deep sky stacker. I've used Sequitur a few times, but most of the time I use deep sky stacker. Works really well. Don't really have much complaints. And I mean, it's still a little noisy here and there, you know, but like this background noise, I haven't figured out how to do the dithering yet with PhD2 guiding and stuff like that. So I'm still, like I said, still using the remote. It's a little pain in the butt, but what are you gonna do? You gotta work with what you got, right? Then to save this, I'm gonna go to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. And once again, I don't know why. I'm just going by what I've seen people do. They always save it as a PNG 24. This one here, though, they've always said it doesn't really matter. I always pick the bicubic sharper, and then you can change the image size if you want. Then you click Save. Then you can pick what you want it to be. Hit Save, and it's done. Just like that. And there you have it. It's the final image. I hope it's helpful. Any questions? comment below. I'll try to answer the best of my ability, but you know, a lot of it's really by eye, by feel. You'll figure out what works what best for you. And like I said, this is the way it's worked pretty good for me. I really don't have too many complaints on how I do it. Looks pretty good, but you know, with time, better things will come. I've been doing it for a while now, a couple years, but with my work and life, it's really hard to get the time in to actually sit still and concentrate on the things I need to concentrate on to figure out like PhD 2 and all that. So eventually get it, probably get it together. We'll all work together on it. And I hope you guys liked it, and I'll be back.